On my show today, we have two very special guests. My associate and partner here, Ahmed Ashfaq, and Expo City's own Peter. Stay tuned. Welcome to Season 4 of the Dubai Connect podcast. Peter, thank you for coming on to the Dubai Connect podcast again.
No, my pleasure. Love spending time with you guys.
So much has happened since the last time you were on here.
Tremendous.
And it's been so exciting. And of course, you have a lot of news to announce. I will just start off, but how funny is it that the three of us have all lived and worked in America and that we all are connected in Dubai, selling and talking about the future of investing being right here?
Absolutely. And there's definitely a reason for that because this is where the future is at, especially for real estate.
100%. And so lucky to have been working with you. And I definitely want to know, what have you found to be the highlights in the past year for Expo City? And tell us what's coming up and what to be excited for.
Look, the last year has been sensational. Our broker following has increased by orders of magnitude. But let me just instead focus on the last 4 weeks, because just in the last month, His Highness has been very active, communicating to the world lots of plans for Expo City Dubai. In fact, I've been here since 2013, Gigi, and I've never seen His Highness be giving so many announcements for one particular developer than for Expo City Dubai, which
I noticed that.
We feel absolutely blessed to be part of history thanks to him.
It's like it's his baby.
It means a lot to him and the royal family. I'll give you some examples.
Okay.
October 3rd, he approved and signed the whole redesign of Expo City Dubai, the new master plan. Now, keep in mind, this is 3.5 kilometers of just absolutely pristinely designed master community. To put that a little bit into context, how big that is, downtown, that lots of people know where Burj Khalifa is, the Dubai Mall, right? That's 2 square kilometers. So this is nearly double the size of that, right? And something that reminds me a lot of Central Park in New York is that we're adding 3 million square feet of nature reserve called Expo Forest.
You know what? I'm so glad to hear that, because that was an issue with me that I wanted to bring up to you is, why are we not focusing more on nature over there and not turn it into a concrete jungle just like any other community?
Because land prices have been going up astronomically every single year. So it's so expensive for a developer to dedicate so much land just for nature where they can't profit from it, right? So here, His Highness and Expo City Dubai are differentiating themselves from everyone else, saying, look, profits are not our priority. We want the well-being of all the community. Correct. And we want to be a role model not only to other master developers in UAE, but also around the world. So the fact that they allocated so much land to just Expo Forest is everybody's going to be enjoying it for years to come.
You guys just approved 10 billion dirham on the expansion of your exhibition centers. Now tell me something, Peter. Why are you guys so fixated on the exhibition center? Why is it such a big deal?
Look, the exhibition center is absolutely huge, especially for investors, Ahmed. Why? Because the amount of footfall that we're going to have thanks to it. And let me put it in perspective. We currently have a very successful exhibition center at 46,000 square meters, right? But it's not enough. And so now we have to go 3 times the size and make it 180,000 square meters, making it one of the largest in the entire world.
Yeah.
Not only
in the world,
yes.
not just just this region.
One of the largest in the entire world. Yeah, it's.
And is it true that I heard the next GITEX will be held in Expo City Exhibition Center?
I don't know about the next one, but I know 2026 onwards, you're going to be hearing.
2026.
You're going to be hearing some big announcements from the government with regards to the exhibition
center. So it seems like you guys are trying to take away the entire business from Trade Center, World Trade Center, and bring it to Expo City. Then
they're the ones who are managing our exhibition center at Expo City Dubai. So they.
Well, you guys have the roads and the infrastructure for it.
Thank you.
Sheikh Zayed does not have it.
Thank you. In fact, Dubai, like most big cities in the world, is facing an issue which is the biggest weakness every single master community has is what?
Infrastructure.
and traffic.
Yes.
Traffic.
Yes.
And it's only going to get worse because Dubai's popularity keeps increasing. And rightfully so, because this is an amazing city to live in. And we have future-proofed the whole city against traffic, and that's a huge claim. And so I get asked, Peter, how is it that you guys are future-proofing the whole city against traffic? Well, we're doing it by 3 ways. Number one is, not many people know that there's 3 main roads that come directly to Expo. Gigi, each one of these roads is 14 lanes. 14 lanes, each one of these 3 roads. That's 42 lanes in total. It's insane, the infrastructure and investment that has been going to Expo City.
I wasn't even aware of that. Wow.
It's phenomenal. And that's just one of the ways that we minimize traffic and future-proof for the whole city. The second way is we have the Dubai Metro directly at our doorstep.
Isn't it the only community that has a metro that comes directly to the
It's
doorstep?
the only villa community that has a metro that comes directly at their doorstep.
And that's huge, right?
Because Dubai South does, Emaar South does not have one yet.
Correct.
They're quite far behind. I would say that community is at least 6 to 7 years behind before we see any metro line coming anywhere close there. So that's one of the biggest advantage Expo City has is your metro station.
So that's huge. And not only do we have it, but it's also the nicest, biggest, most modern one that I've seen. So it's astonishing.
Gigi, you've not seen the metro
No, we need to go on a field trip,
yes.
a metro field trip.
And it's been open since Expo 2020. So
Correct.
that's where the majority of people, in fact, 80% of our staff currently at Expo City Dubai use it on a daily basis in order to...
That's incredible.
commute.
And then
Wow.
I feel like we need to, okay, we have already done an entire podcast about what Expo City is. But let's say for someone who this is their first time hearing about Expo City, let's say it's my American investor sitting back and maybe they heard about Expo 2020, but just to talk about maybe the top 5 reasons why Expo City is a perfect investment. And then I want to go back to number 3 about how it's, because I already know what it is, but I want you to share. But the infrastructure being the most expensive part of any master community, how many billions were spent on the infrastructure already?
So that's a very important part because, especially for investors, they care about 3 main things.
Okay.
Right. One is, what's their capital appreciation going to be?
Correct.
What's their yearly yield going to be?
Correct.
Right. And at what risk are they doing this investment? Right.
Absolutely, all 3 of those are the buzzwords.
So what you're talking about right now is something very special because I've never seen a developer who has minimized risk from every single angle. One of them being exactly what you just mentioned. Do you know what the most expensive thing is about doing a community? It's not the building itself, the residence, but it's the whole infrastructure around it.
Correct.
So we've invested over 35 billion dirhams just in infrastructure alone, right? And then, so that's great. So that minimizes risk tremendously because when you bring one of your clients, like you've done several transactions with us, we appreciate your business tremendously. We not only have show apartments and show villas, right? Every developer has that.
Right.
We have a whole show community.
Right.
So we go on a golf cart and we take them a tour throughout the whole city so they can see the look, the feel, the vibe of a city that's already built and already alive.
Absolutely.
Right?
So that's absolutely one of the reasons. And then it's already alive. Going back and touching upon that, you have the Wasl Dome.
Yes, my favorite.
You have events that are happening on the Wasl Dome. You have restaurants.
Lots of restaurants.
Okay.
We have over 30 restaurants currently, and we're going to have absolute hundreds by the time we open our residences in 2026.
You have offices already there.
Over 135,000 square meters of office space, and it's been built for several years. And these are all the pavilions that got repurposed. And so we have great office spaces for food and beverage, for retail, for corporate offices. Speaking of corporate offices, you have no idea. This month we've been very active. We've signed some huge tenants this month.
That are coming in and setting
Already
up.
signed Nestle, number 67 in the world rankings, Fortune 100 company. Right? This month alone. They're taking several buildings. Phenomenal tenant. WEO Bank, which is growing tremendously. I love. Anyways, they're great in terms of their interest rate. Live Nation, Fujifilm. The list goes on and on.
You have Siemens there. You have
Siemens is
Emirates
already
there. So you have these companies that have set up their headquarters. Offices are already functioning. Restaurants that are already opening and opening more. Infrastructure that's already existent. A brand recognition on a global level that came thanks to the Expo City, right?
Correct.
In line, and I think this is one of the most important points, that when we are trying to share with our Americans minimal risk, which like you said is a key buzz concern, right? Is that it's in line with the Master 2040 vision. I think that's one of the most important aspects for me when I get behind, when someone calls me and says, what do you suggest? What's a good investment? This is how much budget I have. I want to test it. Is it in line with the Master 2040 plan?
Yes, when we have clients and they want to understand what's their risk exposure, they get very comfortable with two things. One, that the city is already built, and so they come through the door, they see it, they fall in love with it. And two, it makes a lot of sense when they realize that we're 100% government master developer, right? Our CEO is Her Excellency Reem Al Hashmi, a minister for the State of International Cooperation. Our chairman is His Highness Sheikh Ahmed bin Zayed, the same chairman of Emirates Group Worldwide, same chairman of Dubai Aviation, same chairman of Dubai Airports. You cannot hire these caliber of leadership. You know what I mean?
Correct.
So we're blessed to have amazing leadership. Everything, obviously, thanks to His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, and that just puts everybody a lot more at ease. And with all these new announcements that keep on coming on from the government, and you think we've done a lot of announcements. You haven't seen nothing
There's
yet.
more to come.
There's more to come. There's a whole schedule of announcements.
Gigi and I were just talking about earlier in our previous podcast, one of the biggest announcement for us personally was your collaboration with Aldar. That
Top two developer in the
yes, Abu Dhabi
country, yeah, and biggest in
that
Abu Dhabi.
has created a lot of buzz for us personally and our investors, because that's a huge big deal what you guys have collaborated with Aldar and what you guys are planning to do. What is it? Six residential?
Eight beautiful towers.
8 towers.
In between Al Wasa Dome and the exhibition center.
Wow.
4 on each side. They're mostly going to be hotels and commercial.
Really?
There's gonna be a
Hotels
little
and
bit-
commercial?
Yes, hotels, commercial, and there's going to be a little bit of residential, but for leasing.
And again, for those who didn't watch, which you can actually, check out our first episode that we did with you last year, is that you're right next to Al Maktoum Airport.
The world's largest airport in the world.
And what does that mean for an investor?
It means so much. So if people have visited DXB, which DXB is huge, Gigi, you've seen it, unbelievable.
Yeah.
This is going to be 5 times the size of a DXB, and it's not some inshallah. No. Construction has already started.
one.
In fact, there's already 2 runways.
Yes.
Right. The Al Maktoum has been operational. There's lots of cargo, private jets, several airlines that utilize it. This is just an expansion. His Highness allocated 128 billion dirham expansion to Al Maktoum. And the great thing is that Expo City Dubai is just going to be 1 metro station away. So imagine, where are all the pilots going to live? Where are all the people working tower control? They make a lot of money. Where are all they going to live? Why not live in a city that's already built. Battle tested, that's a city within a city that you never have to leave in order to get everything that you want?
What about noise?
That's very good. So something that I love about Expo City development team is that they've thought of every single angle. And so we take great care in terms of noise reduction and soundproofing. I'll give you a small story. We had a gentleman from the US, actually. He came to one of our show villas, and I did a presentation to him, showed him around, and he was absolutely impressed by our caliber of windows and noise insulation. And he just taught me everything there is about it, because that's what he dedicates himself to. So he was explaining to me, Peter, first of all, you guys are doing some very expensive things with it being flush against the floor to ceiling windows in our Maha villas and also in our apartments. There's a big thickness in terms of our windows. And he was explaining to me that in the United States, your typical senior citizen home has 30 decibels of soundproofing, right? And he says that what you're doing right here is 74 decibels of soundproofing. So multiples that. So the great thing about Expo City Dubai, if you want to be in the mix of things, you just go 2 to 3 minute walking distance to Al Wasa Dome and you're in it, right? And if you want to go to the comfort of your own home and just shut door, you just hear peace and quiet.
That's a phenomenal, because that is definitely a question that we've been asked. But to Ahmed's point, you've also said this is a hustle and bustle as well. Like
it's not a community for those quiet, old, family-oriented people. I was just telling Gigi the other day, because these concerns were coming from one of our clients, and he just couldn't understand what's with all the hustle and bustle in that area. For example, the concerts that take place in the dome. So he had a question: would that affect the community, the peace
like
flow
being serene community?
Yeah, the serene community. And I was trying to explain, Gigi, I was like, if that's what he's looking for, that is not the community. That's all about the hustle, bustle, the happening area.
It's like a downtown. It's a city within a city.
There you go, like an urban city.
Yes. So the apartments, I completely agree with you. It's more for people that want to be in the mix of things.
Okay.
But the great thing is that we have the best of both worlds. Because if you want to have a more peace and quiet, right, then you have all of Expo Valley, which is very, very quiet. Nature reserve. And that's away from all the hustle and bustle.
Yeah.
And we've just introduced in our new redesign a whole new district called Expo Hills. That is going to be a low density area where we're going to have more apartments. We're going to have beautiful townhouses and very luxurious semi-detached villas. So full of parks, gardens, and recreation for the whole family.
So then there is that option for that client that does want that quiet.
All
okay,
right.
That's great to know. Now, because I haven't forgotten, I wanted to make sure to back it up just to talk about Expo City for someone, right, who hadn't watched our first or hasn't heard about it, which I don't know. Right now, every news, every financial publication, even in the United States, is talking about Expo, right? But that's why I wanted to go back. The third way, I didn't forget, of how you are minimizing traffic at Expo City.
So the whole city has 2 floors, and not many people know about this. So you can drive down, there's elevators that take you down, there's escalators that take you down. And so you have the convenience of just driving directly underneath the city, and there's multiple checkpoints throughout the whole city where you can get that too. And once you come down, and I hope that that hopefully you can come see it, and you can put maybe a video for the viewers so they can understand the magnitude of the infrastructure. It's already built, right? So that helps diffuse also the traffic all throughout the whole city. Just under Al Wasl Dome, we have over 4,000 parking spots underneath it. So it's very impressive. And you can see how all the investment was put to good use.
And the entire city is walkable in how many minutes if you go around?
It's currently a 15-minute walking city from point to point.
And they're the buggies.
We have over 24 different checkpoints currently, and I'm sure that's going to get expanded. You just download an app called Scroot, and I use it pretty much every single day. And you have electric bicycles, you have scooters, you can tap multiple so you can bring friends. I mean, I've done presentations in which I bring the whole group of friends, and then we go exploring throughout the whole city in a little caravan of scooters, which just calls for a memorable experience.
Which all this goes back to the visions, for example, the quality of life initiative, right, about health and fitness, and then the green and sustainability, right? I mean, we didn't even talk about that being one of the biggest factors of Expo City.
That's actually our biggest pillar throughout the whole city, and it's 100% in line because of His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum. And sustainability means a lot to Expo City Dubai. It's not enough for us to just have buildings that are lead platinum and lead gold certification, which is top of the line in terms of sustainability. It's not enough for us to do 3 million square feet of Expo forest for everyone to enjoy, but 100% of all the energy that comes to Expo City Dubai and that we utilize is only from renewable sources, period.
That's incredible.
Peter, how many hotels are currently located inside Expo City?
Rove Hotel is the one that is currently operating, and I'm living off of Rove Hotel. So half the time I'm in Rove, half the time I'm outside. And so I have the privilege of being able to experience the whole city right now, and so I can assure that it's very alive. And in fact, you guys are going to love November, because not only are we doing the Al Wasl Dome light show every single day, but Fridays and Saturdays we have a ton of list of events and activities for the whole entire family. In fact, today we had a huge event in which there was kids doing an obstacle course all around the city.
How fun.
And that's one of the things that I love about Expo City Dubai, honestly, because it's just the city is just constantly having events, festivals, marathons, outdoor activities, concerts, you name it, exhibitions. There's so much to do all the time that you really don't want to leave the city to get everything that you want. And if you ever want to leave it, then you're 15 minutes away from Dubai Marina, 17 minutes from the Palm Jumeirah. You're going to be 15 minutes from the new airport or just one metro station away. So it's a city within a city that has it all.
So you guys are basically trying to attract the residents, the locals who live over here, to give them a reason to come and check out the community. And that's one of the reasons I believe you guys are creating all sorts of events. Now, every Friday you have some sort of a concert. You guys invite different DJs from all over the world. So when I read that, because my son, he's 20.
Okay.
So I was planning to bring him and, like you said, give him that experience, stay the night over at Rove Hotel. You know, he's never been to a concert yet. So this would be his first event to be at a DJ event. So I think that's really smart that Expo is creating ways to acknowledge, for people to acknowledge Expo City by providing all these events.
And what I love about it is that Expo does it in a very family-oriented event. I'll give you an example. I
True.
lived in Miami for about 10 years.
Okay.
Right? And Ultra is one of the largest music festivals in the world, and it's held every year in March in Miami. Very different than what was untold in Expo City Dubai.
Yes.
I've never seen a electronic music, house, this type of music in which you have families with strollers and babies coming in.
Being able to enjoy it.
And everyone was having an absolute blast. It was super modern because you had just wristbands that you can just grab whatever you want, whether it's drinks, whether it's food. And it was just fun for the whole entire family. So whenever Expo does an event, they do it with a twist as well that is very family inclusive, yet you still have an absolute blast.
So from an investor perspective, this is a city that's growing, city within a city, where you're going to have families, you're going to have business people. So that's the long-term projection, right? Long-term rentals, etc., tenants. Short-term, we know the exhibition center, the airport right there, connectivity, etc. And then let's get into a little bit. I know we can't say numbers, and especially because we don't know when someone's going to watch this and things will change. But price per square foot right now, especially compared to some of the other areas in Dubai.
Okay, so we are just about to release our latest project, which is called Sidr Residences. And I love the location and the views of it because you're just 3 to 4 minutes walking distance away from the dome. In terms of price per square foot, we're going to see the prices right now during the launch, but based on the starting prices with the starting sizes that I'm seeing that we've revealed already to the market, you're looking at around 1850 per square foot, dirhams per square foot. Correct, yes.
Okay. And do you even want to share what you think the projected capital appreciation would be before handover, or?
I think the best way to answer that is I can tell you whatever number. That's fine. But the most beautiful thing is when you go into the Dubai Land Department, you go to DXB Interact, right? And you see the transactions that are happening at Expo City Dubai, and you compare it to what they were originally sold and what they're selling now. You're having clients that in less than a year, they've made over 1 million dirhams in profit. 1 million dirhams in profit when they've only paid 20% of the value of the property.
Yeah, we have those.
So they have multiples in terms of return on investment. So that is phenomenal. Anything that I tell you right now, it falls very short of just the history of what is proving, because all the results are leaving us a bit. I'm shocked that
it's more than you even anticipated.
Exactly.
So Peter, one of the objections or bumps in the road that I want you as a sales director to really impress upon our listeners and our viewers is the importance of an EOI in order to secure the best unit when you're launching. Some people seem to think it's a sales pitch. May you please share?
So, how do I start? September, Dubai just recorded the most amount of transactions in the history of the city, right? Ever. Over 18,000 transactions happened in the month of September alone. And over 70% of those were off plan. So when we tell clients, expression of interest so you can get in line so you don't miss out, it's not a sales pitch. You can see the numbers online and just by the news articles that it's a very fast-paced environment of real estate. And when you are a government master developer that is built with a post-handover payment plan, there are droves of people that go on to a launch. And so in order to avoid them having to make a long line, right? With an EOI, you can avoid that. You can do it all through WhatsApp. You do an EOI, and that way it's 100% refundable, which is great. And that way they submit what they want, and then at the moment of the launch, we give them a call along with you, and they can pick and choose what they want, which is perfect.
So, and luckily we have our EOIs in, ready for the launch next week. So that leads me to the next question. Should a buyer or investor go directly through the developer or through agents such as Ahmed and myself?
That's a good question, and we get that asked on a daily basis. We have
Okay.
several direct buyers that come to us on a daily basis, and we tell them all the exact same thing. We do not have any sort of benefit if they come directly or they come through an agent. In fact, we treat everyone the same. If it was like,
So
For
there's no
example, a
discounts.
discounted
Zero
price.
difference.
Because a lot of people assume that they would get a discount if they come directly to a developer.
Ahmed, I wish I, as an employee, would get even a discount. I wish I could get it. And not even myself as an employee, can I get a discount? We give zero discounts to absolutely anyone. We've had some of the biggest bulk buyers, billionaires, buy multiple units, and they've tried their level best in order to get this. We don't give discounts to anybody. And I love this because it's just a testament to the transparency of the developer to just have a level playing field.
Absolutely.
Besides, we have minimized, we've reduced the price as much as possible just so we can be an even more inclusive master community. So we don't give any discounts to anyone, not even employees.
So, and then what about priority to the units? No, because it's based on an EOI.
Correct. So all your EOIs is based on first come, first serve.
serve.
And as soon as you submit it with payment, then you get put in the queue. And then on the day of the launch, then we start calling up based on that line,
Thank
which
you
is
for
great.
answering that.
Well,
Most welcome.
One of the benefits that people need to realize that Dubai has done with, especially with developers, is they don't pay our commissions. The client does not pay our commission. The developers do. So if I know as a buyer, as an investor, that all my expenses have been taken care of by the developer, why wouldn't I not use and take advantage of that broker's services? That's like getting a full VIP
Absolutely.
customer service, you know? So the only reason investors assumed, well, a lot of our investors did, well, what if I go directly to the developer? I've been told that I will get a discount on the price. So thank you for clearing that is not the case, and that they should take advantage of using our services in order, for example, choosing the right unit. Most people have no idea, okay, what am I picking or what am I choosing if I decide to buy an apartment in this unit?
You're absolutely right. And that's, and I mean, your expertise and consulting advice, that's only 50% of the part. The other 50%, Gigi, we're telling me, is everything that happens post-construction.
Exactly.
So I'm sure you guys
So
can elaborate.
The
strategic-
after-sale
even more.
service.
The after
Exactly.
strategically timing the sale
What
if
does
they're
that
looking
involve? Yeah.
right, or securing a mortgage, if financing, property management, etc. So I'd like to wrap this up a little bit and just share it. And this is honest in complete transparency and honesty on my end. And I think you've seen this with my efforts. When an investor from America comes and it's their first time dipping, and they are trying to climb the list of the top buyers, right? But especially in American or Canadian, and they say, Gigi, I've heard about Dubai. I understand it's a city of the future. I get what's going on there, but I am a little bit scared because I live over here. Not even planning on really going there potentially, but I'm priced out of the market in the United States, priced out of the market in Canada. Property taxes, right? The price per square footage, the lack of ability to Airbnb, as we were talking about. So let's do this, but minimize my risk, get me into an opportunity that I can really trust. I will say, I confidently say Expo City is one of my top two, you know, and it is because the government, because of the infrastructure, because of what you've proven, because of the vision, what's happening there. And the other really attractive thing, let's say maybe differentiates you from someone else that's also competitive, trustworthy, is your payment plan.
Yeah, our post-handover payment plans are absolutely brilliant.
Can you explain for someone that doesn't understand, what does that mean? That means 0% for...
So it means minimizing risk, and the way that you minimize this risk and leveraging off to get even higher yields. What do I mean by that is, I'll give you an example for our most recent launch that we're having, which is Sidr Residences, in which we are collecting 60% during construction. So while we're building it, you only pay as the client 60%, right? And then once you get the keys, you pay 10%, right? So that's 70. and then 2 years later, you're paying the remaining 30%. So you get the keys, you can start renting it out, you can start getting income, and you've only paid 70% of it. And then the remaining 30%, 2 years post-handover at 0% interest. You're already pre-approved, which is great. And our payment plans are 100% transferable. So God forbid, knock on wood, something happens and you need the money, you can just sell it. And because you have that post-handover payment plan, then the new buyer doesn't have to pay the full amount. So he's more likely to buy it from you, which is great.
That's a huge added benefit that I don't even think I've even spoken about enough.
Peter, question. Why do you think Expo City will do so well when it comes to Airbnb?
I love this question because it's an app short-term rental paradise. Ahmed, you get literally the best of both worlds. What are the best of both worlds? You get business tourism and you get regular tourism. Let me elaborate on both. Business tourism. We have over 135,000 square meters of A-grade office space. We've already discussed some of the biggest companies in the world are already moving to Expo City Dubai, and they're currently there. Right? That's great. So that's going to continue. We have one of the largest exhibition centers in the world, 180,000 square meters. 65,000 people can come through the doors of that exhibition center on a daily basis. So whenever we have an event, whether it's from the business or if it's from regular tourism, because Expo City Dubai is known for throwing the biggest and best events. Not only do we throw the biggest and best, but we also do family-friendly ones every single weekend, which is great fun for the whole entire family. And that's now. Imagine once we have the residences, how we're going to really crank that even further up. So that's phenomenal. What does that mean to an investor who does short-term rentals? What that means is that every single weekend, there's a justification for me to increase the price even further. And the people will be more than glad to pay that. Why? Because you're in a city within a city that you're having a ton of fun. You grab the metro from the airport as soon as you arrive to Dubai, and boom, you're at the city. So you have the best of all worlds all in one spot.
So Gigi, let me break this down a little bit to you, since you have not witnessed what happens in Trade Center, the exhibition over there. Every time that we have exhibitions set up over there, a 3-day or 4-day event. So people travel from all corners of the world because they're participating or they're visiting. So guess what happens? They're literally booking every hotel that's available in that surrounded area. Yeah. So Peter just said that you have an exhibition that fits 65,000 people. If these 65,000 people are visiting here, participating, where do you think they're going to sleep over?
Right. Amazing.
And this is one of the reasons, the first time, you remember when we were talking about Airbnb, when Expo actually launched, and I was like, Gigi, this place, Airbnb, will be a gold mine. Because when I found out that they are building 2 exhibition centers, I put 2 and 2 together. I knew exactly what they were planning to do. And this is why we feel Expo City is such a gold mine.
So excited for our clients that have already invested and believed in it even before. And like you said, there are even more announcements to come, but even before some of the major announcements that have happened. And I'm excited to see what happens on launch day next week for the new residences, and glad that we got our EOIs in. Get those EOIs in, please.
Absolutely. This is looking like our best launch ever. So we are super excited.
Well, I love your passion. I love your responsiveness. I love your knowledge. And thank you for understanding the mentality and the questions of our investors, because it's unique, right? I say this to a lot of developers. I feel like a lot of people have been spoiled in Dubai because the business has come quite easily from a huge part of the world. But we're just starting to see the North Americans, right? And so, and it's a different, you have to understand that there are different questions for different buyers. And so I thank you for the role you've played to help us educate and answer our investors. And also,
wait a minute, Gigi. Before we let him go, we have one more very important question for him to talk about, shed some light on. The part where they collect the EOI payment through a payment link.
So
let's clear that out, that it does not work for the Americans. So what would be the next option, Peter, since the payment link does not work to submit an EOI?
Oh, we can just do a wire transfer. That's quite easy.
That's it.
Perfect.
So that has come up so with every single deal, that initial credit card, and I think it scares sometimes the buyers, and I have to tell them, this is happening with everybody.
Yeah, I
Yes.
think every single developer is struggling with credit card
Yes,
payments
correct.
only
With the
from the United
Americans.
States.
From the United
Correct.
States.
That's it.
That's
No other
it.
Because
country that
anything
happens
above $1,000, there's a red flag
Yes.
from the bank side.
Yes.
Because we have a lot of credit card stolen issues in the U.S. So anything above $1,000,
So when they see
They
that
block it.
27,000,
oh
boom.
yes,
Yeah.
immediately.
So, Peter, thank you. I wish us another successful, amazing year to continue to share with our clients the opportunities that exist, not just for investing, but actually, and we'll touch upon this on a separate podcast, the opportunity to come and live in this beautiful city of Dubai. So,
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you,
having
Peter.
me, guys. Always a
thank
pleasure.
you. Thank you.
Pleasure's ours.
Thank you so much, Peter and Ahmed, for an excellent, excellent episode. Please make sure to like, subscribe, follow, and you can also find me on Instagram at Gigi Benitez International. Stay tuned for the next episode.